Welcome to the new age. Politics, economics, and social strife are things of the past. A time of boundless technological potential. Drugs to combat illness and disease. Sustainable lifestyles, harmonious societies. The means to communicate our feelings with passion and thoughtfulness beyond physical abilities.
No.
Tonight at 10.
Tonight on BBC London.
Hello and welcome to the
Programme tonight.
Good evening. Exactly.
Good evening. With just days to
In
go.
the age of maximising design Matt Barbet.
Donald Trump told a rally in Vermont last night.
This is the 21st century. A strange time of 24-hour news, contradictory stories about health, and adverts about mental dysfunction.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
Celebrities are born and die in the blink of an eye.
A dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter.
Economics and extremism, two strands defining the first decades of the political century.
The week in which a bunch of loser jihadists slaughtered 132 innocents in Paris.
But what binds this generation together?
I need to share everything about me, but I still demand my privacy.
Oh my God!
I need a privilege.
Everything about me.
Take a look at this picture of a cat.
Viral
Hashtag self-important cliche phrase.
I'm secretly a badger and an African gazelle and a can of Febreze, impersonating a human being.
Join us as we discuss the stories making the headlines in the UK and around the world. Duncan Watson, Gordon Watson, Scott Baxter, Tom Davenport, and special guests. Sit back and relax as you listen to the Vox Mews Show.
Get that one out first.
That's a lovely introduction to the show.
Right, so you're listening to the Vox Mews Show podcast.
Can't mail that now.
Right, you're listening to the Vox Mews Show podcast. I can't remember which number this is. I think it's number 4 or maybe number 5.
Is it not one?
Are we going back to
Yeah, I
start?
think we're just starting at the beginning.
1A then. 1A.
1A0.
Right, so okay, so this is podcast number 1A
0.
0.0 cubed squared. Yeah, 0.
Googled.
Yeah. Right, so we used to do this program. It was about 2 hours long in Stirling University, and it was a news and current affairs program. And we talk about things that are happening nationally. We talk about things that are happening internationally too. So we decided that we'd bring the program back. We've culled some of the people that were in it before. So we used to have this guy called Alan Grant, who was So we had this person called Alan Grant, who's a really nice guy. We haven't spoken to him in a long time, but hopefully we can get him back onto the program. And we also used to have a guy called Chris Renison, who
Chris might actually come back.
So Chris, alright,
Yeah.
Chris might come back, so watch this space.
Yeah, the late Mr. Chris Renison. He's always turned up late, so we thought we would call him that.
Okay, so just to introduce you again, my name is Gordon Watson. I'm a like a broadcaster kind of person, with my tag team partner Duncan Watson, who is no relation to me, or kind of. We also have Tom Davenport that Duncan went to school with and is still very good friends with. And their other friend, Mr. Scott Baxter, who we work with and is also a very good friend of Duncan and Tom's and mine. And we all work in a little shop, which I won't give the name out of, but we chat about everything, politics and news and current affairs and just about anything. And we decided we'd bring this program back and do it as a podcast form. So I've talked for what looks like just coming up to 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So that means that we'll talk about. I'm just going to introduce the first topic we're going to talk about, and that is. Oh, shut up! I'm doing this ad lib. Wind it up. Right. So we're going to talk about David Bowie and the sad death of him on the 10th of January. So it's nearly been a week. We're going to have a little chat about his legacy, all the things that are interesting about him, like his image and his music and stuff like this. So Yeah, we'll get underway. Do you want to get underway now?
Yeah.
All right.
Give it 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Right, so David Bowie's basically had a career that spanned almost 40 years. Or no, over 50 years. It started in 1967. It's 2016 now. If he'd lasted all the way through, then yeah, it would have been a long time. But he basically worked all that time, solo career with various bands, and like the lasting memories for people will probably be Image and the music. So let's just go round us first off. What do you think what was your favourite song, Scott, from David Bowie?
Let's Dance.
Why?
I don't know. Just because it makes me want to dance. It doesn't.
Go into dusk.
Request it. It never happened and it never will. No, I like Let's Dance. It's a good song.
Okay.
Yeah, that's as deep as it goes.
Alright.
Yeah.
Tom, what about you?
I think it's probably the first one that I really listened to. So I got an album off my dad and I thought, this is dad music, But actually it was Sorrow.
Alright,
Yeah, you know
okay.
that one? Probably not a choice, but
No.
damn, yeah, really got me into that. After that, Space Oddity, because what an epic. I think the thing with David Bowie is the way each generation he always brought out something that was could be good. Where some bands fizzled out, he kept burning.
What was that whole thing about reinvention? And I think he was asked in one interview I watched a couple of days ago with, I think it was a Quebec sort of magazine type of program, and he was asked, how were you so successful in, staying at the top of your game and all this kind of stuff. And I think he joked and said something about, I'm a chameleon. I'm desperate to always change myself so that I can return to something new and people will see it. And there's other things as well that are quite funny, where he gets questions from fans like, why did you kill Ziggy? Why did you kill him? And we're talking about, obviously, Ziggy Stardust, which we'll get on to in just a minute. But yeah, just really fascinating. And it's that thing as well you say about where we pick up on his music. So you said your dad's CDs and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's a generation thing. He appeals to each of them. I think what's kind of special about him is it's sort of outsider figure, He just sounds strange,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you see his film The Man Who Fell to Earth. It's just a sort of,
What was that about?
Figure.
What was that film about? Was it that, if I'm right in saying this is the one where he's an alien, and he comes to Earth with the intention of trying to secure the support of Earth to help his planet because it's ailing and they're lacking natural resources, they need water or something like this? Is that right? All right. Okay.
Wow.
It sounds rubbish on paper, but he really brought it,
Yeah.
He knew how to speak to people, and he knew what media was. He was very in tune with what was going on with his surroundings. In fact, there's a very famous interview with Jeremy Paxman where he predicts the future of the internet very, very accurately. And in the interview, Jeremy Paxman sounds like he's quite skeptical of the internet. I think it was the sort of generally accepted opinion at the time, but we've seen today just how right he is. Yeah, he was a clairvoyant.
This might sound like quite a generic thing to say about musicians, but he did have a particularly unique voice, particularly unique sound.
What was that?
Well, just as a singer, simply just, he had his own particular, it almost sounds like he is actually just speaking the words rather than actually singing them, I've noticed.
Okay.
Particularly in that Let's Dance song that Scott was mentioning.
What would you say then is your favourite song?
Probably Rebel Rebel.
Yeah?
Why is that? Probably a generic choice again, but I don't know, it just always reminds me of good times, I suppose. And I've always generally enjoyed it when it comes on. So yeah.
Alright. Who got you into him?
It was a guy I lived with in my fourth year at university. He was quite sort of hippie-esque for now, I suppose. And he listened to a lot of older stuff, including The Doors as well. And a lot of other sort of 60s and sort of psychedelic bands, and he played David Bowie all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that always came on at parties.
Okay, alright. I think it's very hard to put down what your favourite song is for me, because, you know, the thing is when you get the news in to say that he's died, and then it's probably a fairly, you know, understandable thing that the moment you go on, you know, one of these sort of like video sites, and you see them talk about, in the comments about, I really liked this, you know, this song, or I remember this, you know, this event, and oh, this takes me back to a certain place. So I think my favourite has to be Modern Love. What's so funny?
I don't know. He's laughing and I'm laughing.
Well, why are you laughing?
I'm about to take a drink and I can't help thinking I'm going to end up laughing and start spilling it everywhere.
Way to ruin the mood.
That was a very somber mood until you ruined it.
Yeah. And now you're going to have a drink. You better not spew.
Fuck off.
So, what do you think of, like...
Stop fucking looking at me when I'm drinking.
Dude, look at me when I'm drinking.
Just don't look at me at all, please.
So, I mean, there's been all sorts of speculations, and there, even at the time, and still now, I figure, about his sexuality. I mean, Tom, do you think he was gay, or do you think he was bisexual?
I think probably bisexual. I mean,
I think he was.
I
He
don't
said,
think
didn't
it
he say
really
over the
matters.
years?
that's what I was going to go.
I don't think it really matters.
No.
Like, had any normal, like, sort of politician or something died, we wouldn't be speculating whether or not they were straight.
Yeah.
He definitely pushed boundaries at the time. But today and age, we don't really need to talk about it. It's not a big thing.
Well, 50 years ago, I think it was quite big.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the relevance of it,
But-
Yeah, it was.
Well,
So has
especially...
he managed to push these, you know, back? I think that's probably the question. I mean, has he had to give a hand to sort of modern society? You know, this modern love, as you were saying.
Well, the interesting thing being that Modern Love comes out in the sort of late 70s, early 80s, given that one of his big personas, the one that we always talk about, is Ziggy Stardust. And that was classed as being the androgynous character that he created.
This was his alias.
That was one of his aliases. Yeah. Probably the most famous one, given that, as I say, androgynous, but also very much a spirit of sexuality. You know, here's this person that really is flamboyant. You can't tell if they're male or female, but would appeal, I suppose, either to male or female. And I mean, you get stories of women who said that, oh, I really fancied him even though he dressed up like that. Oh, well, yeah. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah.
But, yeah, how important that image was. You know, one of his many, but just how that in its own way sort of...
I think it really leads into this otherness of his whole career, you know? Look at some of his songs, Space Oddity, and some of the other ones. I had a lot more in my head. That rhyme with the same kind of theme. But, yeah, you know, I think it's been part of his lyrical process. It's like, sort of outside perspective, and I think that's probably what...
what do you mean by outsider perspective?
It's just the kind of theme that you kind of get from a lot of his music, and it probably is tied into the sexuality.
Because I mean, there was a thing there in this magazine that was written in, well, an article he did with this Melody Maker magazine back in 1972, where he did basically come out and say he was gay. Obviously later on it comes out that he says that he was bisexual. But there's always been this rumour that he had an affair, or he had a homosexual relationship with Mick Jagger.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all either.
Yeah.
That's kind of... I find that kind of surprising, considering Mick Jagger was seen as...
Yeah,
a bit of a lad.
But I mean, it was just sort of like a rumour that went round a long time, and it's talked about, but nobody knows for certain. Even I don't. But yeah, that's an interesting element to it. But just looking at some of the other things that are talked about, now I don't know how true this is, but as far as his politics are concerned, I mean, I don't know what he voted in either general election or whatever, but there was something else that was interesting where he talked about he liked fascism. I don't know how true that is. I looked up on his wiki page, the fountain of all knowledge that is today.
What exactly is the comment or statements made?
Well, I'll look it up very
made?
quickly, but it was something about the UK is ready for fascism, is ready for a fascist leader.
Really?
Something like that.
Okay.
Do you want to have a look on Wikipedia while we chat about it?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just look under David Bowie and politics.
We're really not helping our credibility on this show by using Wikipedia as our source.
You wouldn't believe how
it must be true. It's on Wikipedia.
You wouldn't believe how much information, how much research is done from Wikipedia to determine. Yeah, I don't know how true that statement is, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so it says, in 1976, speaking as the Thin White Duke, Bowie's persona at the time, and at least partially tongue-in-cheek.
Well, there we go. That's probably the character that's talking. So
he made statements that expressed support for fascism and perceived admiration for Adolf Hitler. In reviews with Playboy, NME, and the Swedish publication, Bowie was quoted as saying, "Britain is ready for a fascist leader. I think Britain could benefit from a fascist leader. After all, fascism is really nationalism. I believe very strongly in fascism. People have always responded with greater efficiency under a regimental leadership." Well, I need to bear that in mind for John Cena!
But then that
Sorry, what company is that, Scott?
John Cena! No, I'm going to beep it out anyway. Right. You won't be able to hear it.
So that raises a really interesting question then, because, it's saying in the article that it was Bowie, the person who said it, but he was using the persona, the person he was creating, to deliver that comment. So then there's a question of whether he's in character, delivering comment that he thinks the character would say and believe, and would he then, I wonder, distance himself from it and say that's not David Bowie talking, that's the White Iron Duke, or the White Duke as it's putting here.
And then when does someone come out and say, oh yeah, this guy's suffering from multiple personality disorder?
Well,
I think this is quite interesting because he really blurs the lines between sort of acting and music, isn't he? I think all of his characters are an act. Every single every single little bit of it is planned out, I think.
Secretly, I'm a gazelle.
And a can of Febreze. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 76. It was probably a lot of drugs, to be honest.
Yeah.
So you think that's drugs?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But he says there, I think we should actually say he claimed mental instability caused by his drug problems.
Okay.
To be fair, it does say here, Bowie later retracted these comments in an interview with Melody Maker in October 1977, blaming them on mental instability caused by his drug problems at the time, saying, "I was out of my mind, totally, completely crazed."
Okay, so character, or it was drugs. One of the two.
Yeah.
Okay then, what do you think of the music sort of later down the line? So we're talking about things like, you were saying earlier, Tom, about the Black Star album and Lazarus. What did you think of that?
Those are quite powerful, you know?
Mm-hmm. Why?
Just, the way it's kind of structured and the timing, maybe. But I think I read somewhere he sung his own epitaph. And, yeah.
Right, okay.
That's a great line.
That's the BBC alerting us to something new?
Yeah, I just got it there. It's about the Iranian nuclear deal.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Breaking news. So breaking news is the Watchdog says Iran has taken all steps to start implementing the nuclear deal, paving way for the lifting of sanctions. Now that's given that this week 10 American sailors were detained by the Iranian authorities, having strayed into Iranian territorial waters, and they were held for a number of hours while the American government negotiated with the Iranians. And in so doing, they agreed that they would let them go. And as far as analysts are saying, this is actually a very good move. It shows that the Iranian deal is working, and that the Iranians are desperate to maintain the deal they have towards removing the sanctions that were in place by the Americans. Anyway, so getting back to the sort of the topic, the David Bowie stuff. I listened to Black Star, listened to it a couple of times now. And I listened to it the first time, and then obviously when you see the video, there's something a bit weird about it. It's a bit like watching what happened to Major Tom after Major Tom died. You know, there he is, and he lands on this weird planet, and all these people with tails, and shuddering around in sheds, and attics and stuff like this, and talking about candles, and this kind of thing, and
What?
I know. But even that, I mean, that you listen to lyrics and you watch the video and you sort of read some of the comments that are made, and it raises a very interesting question about David Bowie and his views on religion. Because it's almost the impression of, well, is this about deity? Is it about, believing in something? And when you look at some of the information that's talked about, when David Bowie is describing his views on religion, it's a weird thing, because you can't really tell whether he's agnostic. That's to say, he believes in something, but not in one of the gods that we have. And then there was something written back in the sort of the mid 1960s where he's talking about Buddhism and things like this. Yeah. Anyway, so I think
I thought he was a Buddhist, actually.
Okay. So I think we'll wrap it up there, and we'll come back onto something else. Not sure what yet, but what's your final thought, Duncan, on David Bowie? What do you think will be your lasting memory of him?
Well, simply his music and his stage presence, I suppose, and obviously all the sort of alter ego presence that he's had. That's what made him a lasting, very notable figure.
Okay, what about you, Tom?
Well, being a charismatic figure, and these songs which may define a generation. Because I think Space Oddity is one of the main ones of the 60s.
Yeah, you're talking about the 60s. This is well researched.
We are very well prepared and professional.
What about you, Scott?
He's just an icon, isn't he? He was basically the soundtrack to so many people's childhoods. And I think it's affected a lot of people's lives, because to them, David Bowie dying, it marks the end of their childhood, if that kind of makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. I think we all remember the first time we heard a David Bowie track.
Mm-hmm. On that Christmas concert at school, do you remember?
Hmm?
The 60s
and you sung Major Tom.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Song, yeah.
Well, I didn't, but they did, yeah.
Ours was all hymns and everything. It was crap.
This was a bit of a change. This was a P4 thing, do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, standing there with t-shirts and tights on our head.
Well, I always remember him, yes, for his music, but I also remember him for The Goblin King in the Pan's Labyrinth.
What a film.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, to round up, here is Lazarus by David Bowie.
Look up here, I'm in heaven. I've got scars that can't be seen. I've got drama, can't be stolen. Everybody knows me now. Look up here, man, I'm in danger. to lose. I'm so high it makes my brain whirl. Drop my cell phone down below. Ain't that just like me?
Late. Yeah? You quite done?
Right, we're recording now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're recording 15 seconds ago.
So that was
Asshole. Go.
That was Lazarus by David Bowie.
It was.
That was one of the songs on the Black Star album, his last album. No doubt has been bought several times on many online music sites.
And downloaded illegally from many others too.
So yeah, another interesting thing that's happened today is that Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party, has been in Clydebank in Glasgow in light of the story to do with Trident and the renewal of Trident, and the Labour Party questioning the need to maintain Trident. Should it be government? Should it enter government in 2020? One of their policies is the removal of it, but it's caused a lot of concern, a lot of questions amongst the Labour Party about who supports maintaining Trident and who wants to remove it. Of course, as we've said, Jeremy Corbyn is very much against it. He wants it removed. So, what is the topic here? What are we talking about?
I thought it was Trident.
Alright, so should we maintain Trident in Scotland? Seeing it's in Scotland, has been for several decades now, should we maintain it? Scott?
I don't think it's a matter of should we have it in Scotland, it's a matter of should we have it at all. No, we shouldn't have it at all.
Why?
It's useless, we're never going to use it.
Okay, define useless then.
Well, it's a deterrent, isn't it?
It's a deterrent.
So, it's not working then, is it? It was just in the news last week that North Korea tested another nuclear bomb. Whatever it's meant to be deterring, probably nukes. It's not deterring them. It's not working.
Okay.
And we're never going to use it anyway.
Okay,
so it's not a deterrent.
I agree, it's not a deterrent. I mean, I think the main argument people say is that if they can launch a missile at us, then we should be able to have the means to retaliate. How can we define retaliating a mass murder as well? I mean, it's not a deterrent. It's not we shouldn't use it to retaliate. It just makes us as worse as those who would launch a nuclear missile.
Yeah, I don't know how we can exact our vengeance on a state by the mass slaughter of their people. Yeah.
And the practical aspect of it as well is that even if a nuclear weapon was actually launched and destroyed pretty much the majority of the nation and its own infrastructure, what the hell would be the point of actually launching one back?
Yeah, other than to cause more mayhem. Yeah.
Yeah,
It wouldn't stop further attacks, because once one missile goes off, all of them go off.
The thing
Every
is,
single one of them.
the whole nature of deterrence in the first place, that the argument that's put forward is the fact that it's got nothing to do with any practical policy. It's all psychological. It's all a game of knowing your enemy, essentially, and brinkmanship. That's really all it is.
Yeah, I think someone summed it up quite nicely. I don't know who it was, but they talked about it as being outdated and not fit for modern threats. Trident was good back in the 1970s during the Cold War, when it was standing armies that we had to worry about, but we don't face any standing armies now. We have our problems now are sort of social and economic inequality, hunger, disease, that sort of thing, cyber warfare especially. And you can't fight those things. You can't fight ideologies, and you can't fight ideas with nuclear bombs. Nuclear bombs rely on sort of the mass slaughter of people and nothing else, because they're indiscriminate. So we need to sort of tailor our defences to the more sort of sophisticated and intelligent times that we live in.
Well, you could say a slightly similar thing with the way that we've approached airstrikes as well. I mean, can you fight ideas, ISIS, or non-state actors with airstrikes, or even with boots on the ground? Now, I know that's maybe taking a bit of a leap from nuclear weapons, but I mean, is the solution always a militaristic one?
Well, you said there about deterrence being a psychological thing. Now, I'm not taking a side on this, but it's just a view on this.
We've all taken a side, so I think you should take a side on it.
I find it hard to take sides on things.
You find it hard.
I get impaled.
Your arse not get sore from sitting on that fucking fence.
Yeah, but Gordon, that's the nature of debate. You decide on a position and you try to argue it. That's the whole point.
I'm not writing an essay here.
No.
No one set you the task of writing an essay, though.
The thing about deterrence, though, is that yes, the idea is to have.
Yeah. Deterrence. What's your opinion?
What do I think? Should we keep it or not?
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, it's one of those things of okay. To talk about being a realist in the world of states, of nation states, a realist would say, right, you have to maintain this because it's a big stick that makes sure that other states eat their carrots.
Yeah,
and they pay attention. At the same time, if you get rid of the big stick that you own and try and rely on other sticks that are probably less capable or less significant or create enough of an impact, it's going to affect your position in the world. So I mean, we're talking about things like Britain is a member of the Permanent 5 UN Security Council members. Their fear is that if Britain doesn't have a nuclear capability like the Americans do, like the Russians do, the Chinese don't, although they say they don't. The French do, of course.
They'll probably surrender it before long. Sorry, I can beat that out.
John Cena!
We will nuke you! I'm really sorry. No,
that'll be the John Cena button.
Yeah.
So it's about national pride, although they call it national pride. They call it about national impact, so it's having something that will maintain your position in the world. And at the same time, it's the unknowing. The sort of psychology of another country and its prospects of attacking you and therefore being a threat to you. So I mean, take for example a situation of
yeah, it's holding the balance of power on empty threats.
Holding the balance of power in the event of being absolutely flexible to situations. That's when you read a policy document on defence, like for example, the British one back in 2010. They know that nuclear war is improbable, impractical, and they know that it's unthinkable in terms of a lot of people's views on conducting war. But it's the idea that, well, at least you got it. at least you got it in the bag. That's the view they take. As we say, it's unimaginable to use a weapon like this.
I think for that reason, we should probably install tanks with massive music systems, just in case the Martians from Mars Attacks do invade. Because you do need to be prepared for every eventuality, and you need to put all of those trillions of dollars into something so ridiculous that's never going to happen. So I agree there.
Sounds like a very smug Alex Salmon thing to say.
I know, but that's the thing that would probably upset some people who have probably...
What about Independence Day? What if they actually do come?
Well, nobody... But,
and
you're going to have a Will Smith that like appears out of nowhere.
Don't find that green shit at me.
Yeah, essentially. or like a Jeff Goldblum who says, just give them, they're going to catch a cold. Give them a virus, a computer virus, and that'll deal with it.
Yeah, we should be...
You know, like, cause it's almost as if the aliens run on like MS-DOS, you know, Linux programming systems.
What we really need to be doing is install an antivirus in all of our military technology.
Colin McAfee.
or just simply make sure that everyone on Earth gets a bloody cold that day. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the thing about if you talk about the issue of terrorism in relation to Trident, though, granted, the argument that's made by the Scottish National Party and even the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats and the Green Party. How do you fight something like terrorism with a nuclear bomb? Answer is very unlikely. You can't. And at the same time, given Islamic State, this thing about being an idea and a concept rather than a thing. You know, it's people believe in this thing. People believe in this idea. It's like communism. Communism was an idea. You know, it wasn't practiced properly. It couldn't be. And that was one of the big issues in relation to the Cold War. And that was that even policymakers in the Soviets, in the Soviet Union, were fearing the possibility that if you were to have a nuclear war with the West, that would be the complete an end of, you know, the testament end of communism. And therefore, don't have one. Because we want to maintain this idea. We want to reach this goal, but even realising the limits of doing that too. So, that went off on a little tangent. Getting back to the terrorism element, there are two sides to this. Academics take two views on this. One is, you take the sort of terrorist elements that were happening in North Africa with the French, the insurgencies that the French had to deal with. There are films made about it, comments made about, but if we had the weapons to do it, we would use them. You know, there are others saying that we need some kind of nuclear deterrence. We also need some kind of apparatus or infrastructure in place in order to prevent terrorist units or terrorist networks or whatever from acquiring nuclear weapons. Now, granted, we have oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles of films, television, books talking about terrorists obtaining nuclear weapons or some kind of dirty bomb that will result in big catastrophe if it's blown up someplace. So Tom Clancy, you know, he goes there's miles talking about this kind of stuff.
Some of All Fears.
Yes, for one. 24, that Kiefer Sutherland TV show, the second season where the nuclear bomb goes off halfway through the series. Halfway through the season.
I did hear a great thing about Tom Clancy. When Margaret Thatcher was considering renewal of Trident, she was talking to Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan said to her, "I've read this great book. It's you've got to read it. It explains everything." It turns out it was by Tom Clancy.
Yeah, that was was that the one where he said, "This is how to understand the Russians. Read this book."
Exactly.
Yeah, that was it. How to understand the Russians. Yeah.
Fucking penguin text.
hungry Thatcherite.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I remember that point.
Hungry terrorist.
But I think if we bring it back to this thing about Jeremy Corbyn being anti-Trident, I mean, if we were to gauge what just happened with the House of Commons voting in favour of Syrian airstrikes, we're already seeing small cracks at the moment, and we're not saying any certainty that this will snowball into any massive situation. But there are a few people who've come out so far. Namely, there's Owen Smith, who's the Shadow Work and Pensions Minister. We also have Lord Falconer. We also have Lucy Powell, the Shadow Education Secretary. Now, compared to the other two, Lucy Powell is more sort of guarded. She's sort of the view that we need a compromise in the party. Whereas the other two are saying, well, it's difficult to say. Owen Smith has definitely said... when he was asked on the PNR show on Radio 5 Live BBC programme, unfortunately, we do need one. Those were his words. Lord Falconer said, I will stand by the trident renewal. Lucy Powell, on the other hand, has said that she thinks there needs to be a compromise, and the compromise will mean that they find a position that they can actually stand behind as a party. But at the same time, it's hard to see Labour finding a position of unilateral disarmament. So, I mean, in that regard, given that we've had Jeremy Corbyn in for less than 6 months now, and we've talked about this on one of the earlier incarnations of this programme, do you think there's going to be another one of these massive splits in the Labour Party?
Undoubtedly, yeah.
Given that what happened here, and you've had... Even in this situation, where Maria, what's her name? Yes, her name is...
Was it Maria Eagle?
Yeah, Maria Eagle
that's her.
was replaced with Emily Thornberry.
That's
because
right,
Maria
yeah.
Eagle is
The
a
white van lady.
pro-Trident.
Yeah. We're going to see lots more splits because the front bench is just completely at odds with the backbenchers. The backbenchers seem to be very Blairite. Some of the front bench as well.
Yeah.
It's funny that, really, considering the Blairites didn't start in '97, were essentially flooded the front benches.
They did, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, in that regard, do you think that, this topic of discussion, this issue about Trident renewal, do you think this might cause issues for the Labour Party? That's to say, will there be another massive split?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
we're pretty premature in the argument, but...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You can go as far as say it would be a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Tom might be right there. Yeah.
I mean, most of the MPs do seem to be Blairite, and they weren't being pressed. Love nothing in promoting these splits as they happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a united party is really what he needs. And can he get it with the current makeup of it? Maybe not. But
do you think it's fair that, in this case with Maria Eagle, for example, where he's basically pushed this woman aside and put in someone who is, more sort of favouring his view on Trident rather than Maria Eagle, who is pro-Trident?
He's the party leader, and
he won a huge mandate, didn't he? So I think he's every right to do that.
But I mean, it's interesting though that you've got a situation of a leader here where, granted, you can have the same with the likes of David Cameron, you can have the likes with someone who's prolific as the leader of the party, who will want people that will agree with him. But at the same time, don't you think that the divergence of opinion is very important? If you can have...
Between parties, not within parties, I think.
But I mean, I think you look at the way that the Syria vote went, the fact that you had people... He basically said, I'm going to give a free vote to the party. They don't have to stand by any... my view. I don't like it. I don't want it. This is Jeremy Corbyn speaking. But allowing the members of the party to vote on conscience, on moral sort of view.
That's fine. That's a really principled view, but it didn't do the party any good, did it? Especially in the eye of the media, which kind of reported it very badly, really biased.
Well, I think with Jeremy Corbyn himself, I don't really have a lot of respect for him now after firing basically the majority of his cabinet now and then reshuffling it. When the man himself said that, like you say, he would have a free vote, and he wanted everyone to be able to vote on conscience. Yet the man himself, when he was a backbencher, was a rebel, and always was against the front benches.
Which makes me wonder just how much of this is a Blair hangover still. Where he is almost trying to It's not to stand by the party or stand against him. It's just to say it's interesting in regard to, is this him trying to cull the remnants of a Blairite sort of allegiance?
Yeah, I think it is. And I don't think that's that would be a bad thing either. The internal Labour Party report that was out this week, the investigation that went into why they lost the election, it found that it wasn't because they were too left-wing. That was not one of the reasons. The report actually found that some of Ed Miliband's most left-wing policies were most liked by the electorate. And I think Jeremy Corbyn sees that, and I think he's trying to seize the opportunity to kind of differentiate himself from the Blairites and try and get rid of that hangover, have a cup of coffee, and kind of start afresh in a new Labour Party, a new old Labour Party, if that makes sense.
What do you think about
a new shade of Labour? Because they keep seem to coming out with new colours of Labour all
Blue
the time.
Labour and
Purple
all that.
Labour,
Yeah.
New Labour, Next Labour was one of the proposed
Really?
ones.
I've never heard of that
Yeah,
one. What
Next
was that?
that it lasted like a week or two.
Isn't that
basically
news?
Weekly Labour.
Yeah. Weekly Labour, yeah.
Shades of Grey Labour. 50 Shades of Labour.
Yeah.
I think he should keep going. I mean, every time he says something left wing, I think it probably boosts his opinion, to be honest.
Well, I mean, sorry, go on, please.
Did you hear this morning when his announcement about he would like companies to offer the living wage if they don't, then he would prevent them from giving dividends to their shareholders.
Did see that, yeah.
I think it's announcements like this that he needs to keep doing. You see Trump doing it in America. He just says outrageous things. Maybe if he just says sensible things, it'd be quite
anti-Trump.
To get that clear from what you're saying, so if companies don't offer their employees the living wage, then essentially he basically denies that the private company to act as a private company in the very first place.
Yeah, I think so. Well,
yeah. So that's effectively de facto nationalisation.
Well, yeah, he's a socialist.
Yeah, but without officially nationalising it, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing though is well, it comes to mind just now is Catherine McKinnell actually, who resigned from her post as a cabinet minister, shadow cabinet minister recently. She cited that aside from commitments to family and conflicts in that regard, it was that she felt that she wasn't sure if this new kind of politics was working. Because obviously Jeremy Corbyn pushed this thing he called new politics. This thing that was not the old traditional Westminster style of adversarial politics. That this would be more sort of not so much friendly, cuddly kitten stroking kind of stuff.
Good luck, Jeremy.
Open and honest politics, I think, is the phrase that he used, wasn't it?
Yeah, but then there's another question, and that is how much of this is the media pushing against him? I mean, I'm not going to stand on any position and say that the BBC's like this, or Sky's like that, or ITV is like this. But certainly he's put forward that situations like, for example, a certain BBC reporter who came out with that report that one of his MPs was going to resign from their position an hour before he did.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, it was Laura Kunisberg, is that right?
Kunisberg, yeah.
Laura Kunisberg, and she was it Stephen? What was his second name? Doughty. Stephen Doughty. He pre-arranged with the journalist that he was going to resign on TV for maximum impact against the Corbyn campaign, really. And it was done right before Prime Minister's questions as well, right at prime time where he would have got the most impact. The BBC deny it. The BBC denied that happened, but some very clever internet people managed to trawl back through the internet and found a cached page where the BBC accidentally published this news story that he resigned live on air, half an hour before he actually did resign live on air. So there's a big investigation, and the Labour Party's made a formal complaint, so the shit's going to hit the fan, really.
I think it really does need some media support. You see other past Labour ministers, Kinnock, those kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Really suffered against the media.
Yeah, every single news report I've read about Jeremy Corbyn, they've referred to him as either Mr. Corbyn or as the left-wing leader or the left-wing member. Or
So, yeah, I think they found it sells papers, so they just hammer it home every time they can.
Yeah,
Even the BBC, which is supposed to be, some
the public service broadcaster.
Soon they'll be calling him Commissar, I suppose. Or Soviet.
And this appears to be the story. I mean, I don't know how we can break out of this, And
Well-
wait for it to die down, get some other figure in there.
Well, certainly, I mean, from my perspective, not so much on this issue, but yeah, interesting though it is, it was the whole thing about the reshuffle itself. What sort of impact would it have had on him if he had got rid of Hilary Benn from his position as Shadow Foreign Secretary? What sort of impact would that have in regards to, here's the son of Tony Benn, one of the most prolific leaders of the Labour Party, one of the most prolific speechwriters, orators, who died a couple of years back now, and he, Jeremy Corbyn decides to get rid of Hilary Benn, and what sort of impact would that have? I would say a very large one, and I would say that given the way that the media hype has been against him, the days would be numbered for him, especially his popularity amongst his own MPs within his party. So yeah, it probably was a very, very political, very diplomatic move to keep Hilary Benn in that job, given his father's reputation. So yeah, that's the massive tangent from Trident and the issue of Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh yeah, Trident. Remember that?
Yeah, earlier on we were talking about Trident, but yeah. So it looks like the room is very much against Trident.
Yeah, looks like it. Apart from you.
I never said anything.
You went on a big rant and you didn't even give your opinion. You just went on a big rant. It's like you were getting off the fence and said, "Oh no, fuck that." And you got right back on it and sat your big plump arse right back on the fence. So noted, duly noted, Mr.
Okay.
Watson.
The people-pleasing fence.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Just use it to scratch his arse.
Well, I just think about
anyone.
I think about situations like when the Scottish National Party, in the run-up to independence, published its paper on Scotland's defence in the event of an independent Scotland, and talking about all the things about, we want the removal of Trident from Scotland, we do not want nuclear weapons here. And granted, it's a good point. You don't want them, fine. In an independent Scotland, you probably have the right to do that. But the thing about it is the practicalities of doing that, and it's very hard to do. And there was all sorts of things that weren't talked about properly, that even when you talk to members of the SNP, refused to answer questions on, because they didn't have the answer to them. And that was the very one that I posed actually to a certain MSP for the Scottish National Party, and I said to him, well, if Scotland gets its independence, and as this very non-nuclear policy, especially in regards to nations around the world and its own international relations with other countries, what does that mean for the likes of another country that wants to, bring its dock its ships, nuclear-powered ships, in your harbours? Would you be against that? And that was a vague area. They couldn't answer that one because they hadn't thought about it. Because you're talking about Britain. Scotland wants to have relations with America. Scotland wants to have relations with Britain, what's left of it. But would you let the likes of America dock up one of its nuclear-powered aircraft carriers in the Clyde?
That's a debate that needs to be had.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite fair to ask that question when the debate of dealing with Trident is still in its infancy.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't really think it's quite fair to ask.
But they seem to have it all very well thought out about not having them, and all this policy about we don't want them here, and the transition that they would negotiate with Westminster to do that, which is fine, that's okay, alright, you've thought that through. But the issue I raised with this person was that you haven't thought through this issue, and they couldn't give me an answer on it. And it wasn't to poke fun and say you idiot for not thinking about it. It was that if it's so well thought out, so comprehensive, why is this issue, a small thing that you would think even a policy member an advisor to your party would say, yeah, okay, here's the issue. Here's how we'll sort this one. This is a solution. But they were very vague in their answer.
One of the serious issues that I don't think they've concerned in terms of the actual removal of it is to do with the fact that the area surrounding Fastlane,
Naval base, yeah.
Yeah, naval base, a good percentage of people are actually employed.
Oh yeah, it will have an
the local town.
impact on the economy.
Yeah.
As would the issue with the likes of Lukers or Kinloss, where there are RAF bases, especially with Lukers right now, which converted from being an RAF base to an army base.
So, in doing so, they could potentially alienate a good number of voters.
There would have been the possibility with that, but they did use that as political capital.
Because obviously having a job is one of the most
defence
important issues for people. I mean,
I think it's like, if you're going to say Trident is an issue because of the people that would lose their jobs there, I think you're describing probably the most inefficient job creation program in the world.
Yeah, but I think you also have to consider, Scott, from the self-interest point of view of the people there, is that the area is actually quite remote. People, I think, are probably more likely to be concerned about their employment, especially if it's well paid, than being concerned with the greater good, as it were.
How many people work there, though?
Well, a good number of the people who live in the local town are actually employed there.
Yeah, but 100
and they earn a good salary.
100 billion to those people over the next.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that the way to find a solution to that is to then say, all right, well, we're going to get rid of Trident, but here are opportunities for employment, because we realise
we should of course be doing.
There has to be state provision funding.
Yeah,
for that.
definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Tom, final word. Speak some sense.
As a deterrent, it's not a deterrent. As a weapon, it's not a weapon. They just shouldn't exist in the modern world.
It's only useful in Command and Conquer.
Exactly.
Even at that, it's not even as good as the weather machine.
That is true, yeah.
The weather machine is much better.
Just fire some Kirovs in there.
Kirov reporting.
Okay, this is the Vox Mews show.
Yep, here's our next song.
Welcome back to the Vox Mews Show, episode 1A. Oh, apparently. So we've just been talking about David Bowie, his legacy, and Jeremy Corbyn and the issue of Trident. And now, just for something a bit lighter, we're going to talk about an Australian YouTube personality called Sherilyn Barnes, who, for some reason, makes the most random videos talking about people and
bitching about our pals.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think, Scott, you've chosen a video called "Bitch Better Have My Money."
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description of the video so you can watch it for yourself. It's surreal, disgusting, revolting, all those words. Right, here we go. We're going to give it a wee watch.
Yeah.
Love how it's loose change.
Smoking bits are the best.
She looks really hot. What's with the cat ears, though?
That's hanging.
I mean, is she really serious? I mean,
I don't know. Like,
it's like we were talking about earlier. Is she actually like a she? I'm sure. Well, she looks like one, but she just.
There's another smoking bit coming up.
I can just see the porn vid now. Sherilyn gets her money's worth.
20 pence.
Yeah.
It's got the Queen's face on it.
She's just got the coins like just dropped through her fingers like it's loose change.
Australian dollars.
Stop it. Right, so that was my copy of Brianna's Better Give My Money. So you should go and add me on my Twitter.
It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, just a little.
Sherilyn Barnes on Twitter.
Sherilyn Barnes.
Sherilyn Barnes there. So yeah, I don't know if it's
what?
If it's an actor.
Where did you find this?
I don't know. Someone suggested it to me on the Book of Faces, and ever since then, it's just been pretty funny to watch every now and again. Watch her bitching about her pals in the most superficial way you can imagine.
I just thought,
fucking slag.
It's just where people come away with this kind of stuff, though. I mean,
don't make me make a video on YouTube about you.
Don't like me make a video where I spend all the time saying really nasty things about you
and humping the carpet
and probably smarking myself to an early death.
I mean, she talks about some really philosophical, quite charged, substantive topics. A bit like Vox Mews.
what?
Well, if you look at this, Homewrecker Slag is our first video. Mutts at the Mall and Fanny Farts.
Well, that's very philosophical.
Yeah. The Witch Bitch. Guess What? Naughty Little Poo Face. Chinese Pubes at the Bakery. There's another one. Oh no, she's done a cover of Anaconda.
Rihanna's.
Oh no.
Rihanna's Anaconda.
We've got to see it.
Should we watch it?
Yeah, I might as well.
Shall we expose our eyes to this?
My eyes were raped.
Oh fuck.
So she opens up.
I think we've got to start videos like that.
I know we do. You have to do them, Tom. You have to do those. You're like, I am Tom, and personally, I don't really like you. I don't know why I'm doing this nonsense.
I think it has to be banned. I mean, that's a wig, isn't it?
That's it.
Just
Nicki Minaj.
Everything about her is just a bit weird, though. Even her bracelets and her red painted nails.
She's pretty chavvy looking.
Chavvy looking. How many views? Oh, only 13,000.
She's not that big.
I like the way you can see it takes a lot of takes by the way her face jumps.
I know. I'm sorry, I missed the point there. I'm going to have to say it again. I got me phone. Me intelligent phone.
Oh. The cartoon snake. She's reading the lyrics off her phone. That's what she's doing.
Top artist, you know.
Yeah. So we're not getting to see her in all her pride and glory.
No, which is a shame.
What a relief.
Yeah. Fuck, I had a heavy dinner. I couldn't even do it with that. I couldn't have coped. What's that fucking cartoon steak that stops popping up? It's doing my tits in. She just sounds like she's having an argument with herself. It even looks like it.
She looks like your aunt that's like, you know, her husband like fell out with her and went off with another woman, and now she spent most of her time hating him and like doing things to spite him.
See the stupid sound effect? The sound effects was meant to be the little trumpet.
Look at her. Oh my gosh. Look at her. Oh my gosh.
Well, whoever she is, she's got some pretty good editing skill.
Yeah, she does. That's what makes me think, is this just a parody? Is this kind of an act? Because surely someone this stupid wouldn't be able to get that good at editing videos and kind of become viral. I think it's an act.
Yeah.
I think it's an act. Sure, it has to be.
Yeah, so that was Anaconda by Nicki Minaj.
It was Anaconda by Nicki Minaj.
Fucking hell, thank fuck. That's over.
So this is just another example of the things that we were mentioning in the intro for our show. Just social media gone crazy. You know, you can be anyone on social media.
Yeah,
pretty much. You do something outrageous.
Yeah. And a gazelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's that whole thing again about viral video. Remember that video that we watched ages ago now, and it was the girl that wanted to sing a song. I can't remember what it was called. She must have been like 6 or 7 years old, and there she is with her sister in front of the camera recording, and the next minute the mother comes into the room. It's like something about doing a crap in the toilet. Disgusting!
Yeah, that's amazing.
What's that one? Who's the wee girl that does that stuff? I'm in my mum's car.
Oh no, that gets so annoying, that one.
That was like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was only a year old.
No.
Really?
Yeah. A year?
I thought
I'm in my mum's car.
I don't know. That needs to be forgotten and put in the depths of the internet.
Yeah. Get in the sea.
Get in the sea.
Get in the icy cold depths.
Brutal icy depths of the fucking sea.
That I'm surprised that took off. It's the most random statement. Get in the sea.
Yeah, but the most random things go viral, isn't there? There's actually been lots of studies done to try and determine what makes things become viral. Nobody can put their thumb on it.
Well,
nobody knows. Academics don't know.
But that's it. That would make a really interesting psychological study. I know you've described something already, but you know, is it the moment where someone says, "I'm going to eat this," or is it the moment where they nearly die eating it? That's the funny part that makes it viral. You know, or the bit where they, "Oh my god, I ate cinnamon and I feel terrible." You know?
Have you seen the video of the woman with the afro, where she's
it's like a massive cloud of cinnamon.
Yeah, she nearly died.
Oh yeah.
Or there's one called Stunt It, where these kids playing on scooters. It's like Stunt It.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah.
There's lots of those videos though. I think that was on the Cringe channel actually.
Yeah. Oh god. Oh, the Cringe channel.
The woman who made her own Christmas video.
Oh yeah, the woman in the Christmas video.
Yeah, the old woman.
We're going out in the street. Oh god. And that guy who ended up on the Cringe channel is like, I don't look anything like him.
Yeah.
I'll try and do an impression.
Oh yeah, he's just I think there's Asperger's in there somewhere. But you can, like, when he pauses from talking, you can hear the clicks of slavers in his mouth.
Yeah.
And I think that's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Well, remember we were having a chat about that because I showed you that video and you like nearly died watching.
Yeah, the AMSR video. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go all the way through it. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, what do you think about that? It's horrible, isn't it?
Well, chuck it on.
No, let's not.
You just have to cover your ears then.
Fuck.
It's just some woman like sat there in front of him like, "Hi, I'm gonna make the sound of mouth noises for ASMR," and which I can't tell you which one it is. It might be that. Who knows?
Fuck.
It's like,
stop it.
Sounds almost kind of similar to when someone's eating, almost.
yeah.
Someone's enjoying a meal.
There are some really, really good people that do ASMR, by the way, but there are some people who don't, and they spend most of the time like editing their videos. So 1 minute is like you hear noise, and then you hear dum as they hit the microphone. It's like dum, and then it starts again. Especially UK ASMR, she's really good, or ASMR, she's really good.
Which
But
one?
UK ASMR.
This one? Where's that?
That's Massage Psych Truth.
Oh.
She's okay too. I couldn't tell you which one does the
Okay,
most.
let's just go with this one here.
Gordon's clearly been doing his research.
He has, he knows what he's on about.
I listen to these every night.
Do you?
Hi. Thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me again today. Today, I thought I could.
No! That's horrible. That's what we need to be using as a weapon.
Can't hear any of it, man. Can't hear any of it.
That's what we need to be using as a weapon against ISIS. Never mind nukes.
My favorite.
But the sound of people opening and closing their mouths.
Yeah.
I will throw my first world at you.
Fair warning.
Oh no, right, we have to turn it off. That's fucking doing my head in.
Random though. ASMR though, it's become quite a significant thing.
Is it?
I can't remember what the abbreviation actually stands for, but it's like a physical, psychological thing where certain sounds and sounds are presented through
sensory meridian response.
Yeah, so it's like a response that's picked up in the body through the visual and the audio.
It's still making the hair stand up.
Alright, okay, don't worry. See, like, you put some headphones on and you hear like the sound of people like tapping things, like, and they do it up to a mic. So let's say we're like,
yeah, we get the idea.
like that.
Or like the stuff on How To.
No, not quite that.
No.
That's a bit sort of more random. Like.
Yeah, okay. You could probably do that. I don't know.
So people like writing on a chalkboard is meant to be stimulating, or people typing on a keyboard kind of thing, or I haven't heard someone going on the toilet.
Yeah, a pat and a patty.
Oh,
how about slapping it?
Wow, this has went from a serious debate about trident and about all these things, and to make
this is the random time. This is
what was even our topic to begin with?
It was Sherilyn Barnes.
Sherilyn Barnes and her random nonsense videos.
Yeah, they're sort of shitty videos about bitching about her pals.
We went off track quite a bit.
I mean, would you make a video
making
about
fanny noises with her hands?
Yeah, sorry. Would you make videos about bitching about your friends though?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, you guys are...
Do you dress up as a woman?
You're smoking a cigarette while you do it. See you! I don't like you very much, Duncan Watson.
Yeah, I'm doing it in an Australian accent as well.
Yeah, wow.
You know, the other day, when you were in the shop and someone came in and tried to buy some John Cena, it was the wrong one.
You did it both occasions when you said John Cena. There is going to get John Cena out.
Good.
And when I said it just there as well.
These shoes aren't waterproof, and I'll prove it to you.
They're made by
which is a registered trademark of
a company that is owned by and the person who owns it called Nerd.
Ball Break.
Mr. Ball Break.
Mr. Chocolate Flake.
Is that Mr. Gary Lazaman?
Okay, that's acceptable. We don't need to John Cena that out.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yeah.
So, what was it like when he being the proud owner?
John Cena!
Jackie.
Yeah, that's got John Cena out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
How'd you get on with that day when Bon Laird came into the shop? Bon Laird.
Bon Laird. When I met Bon Laird, when I was with Ravina Mister.
You're meeting these are the worst pseudonyms ever.
Ravina Rithna.
No, that would be Wavina Vista.
Hey, it's a work around Ravina Rithna. That's gonna get really cut out. That's gonna cut out quick.
You're meeting Jill McCrane on
oh great.
A week today, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good old Jill McCrane.
We had some wonderful conversations, me and Jill.
You and Jill.
Yeah. When I passed her on to Ravina. I got Jill on the phone.
Then go on to Bond and Harriet. Then go for a coffee at Tosca.
And go for a shit pot noodle at Bomhagen.
Boguns.
Even when you buy it at a home bar, it's more shit than normal.
Look at these great deals I got in pack.
When you buy anything at a home bargains, you're half expecting to get fucking toenails and everything. Fucking boggin.
Is that a certain Mr. Mark Warkerson? What about your friend Brave who comes in though, Duncan?
Sorry?
Your friend Brave.
Brave. Oh yeah, Brave.
Oh,
Brave.
yeah, Brave.
Yeah, with the lack of
with
hair follicles.
Yeah. Brave and all his noops.
Yeah.
His £1 million noop.
Yeah. Fucking ancient thing and dug out the grum.
Was he like? He loves like. Isn't he like Tree Glenfield rifles or something?
Yeah.
We're talking about his granddad and writing that story. He still goes on about it. And he's like, trying to find the time to write it.
Oh yeah, it's doing it off every single day. How are you getting on, Dave? Still no started yet. I let John Cena that out because I actually just said his actual name there. So
yeah,
there's a lot of John Cena going in here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Be careful.
Get wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, actually, when Tom and I were working last week,
in Lazarman's.
Yes, one of the fine young sales assistants from Woughton Marehouse came round to the shop, and apparently they were having some very, very difficult customers. Apparently a couple of very aggressive customers.
Aggressive? What do you mean?
Oh, one of them. Well, she claims that one of them apparently grabbed her shoulder.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
And then Barry Couth came along.
Strawberry juice.
I've had apparently said to her that she could take some time out just because she said that apparently her confidence had been knocked a bit. So
really?
Yeah. So
wow.
How much? By 60 degrees?
I just feel a bit 45 degrees today, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Don't be so obtuse.
I don't know.
I'm reflexing about your.
I feel a bit wrong with it.
Don't be so square.
Well, that was a huge diversion.
Yeah, we were talking about Charlene and Barnes.
Yeah. So Tom, how's your little app thing coming on?
App. It's actually nearly finished.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. The website thing is.
You could use it to evaluate Charlotte and Barnes videos.
I can try, yeah.
some sort of automatic.
Shrillanometer.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. Like, how much I like this based on my political beliefs. I really liked it because I'm very right wing. The way she talked about that man, I thought it was very left wing. That's a very, very centrist thing to say. Radical centre.
Radical moderate.
Yeah. No. I like things the way they are. On Tuesdays, not every other day. You will accept the status quo. Like a blown up buildings.
Yeah, this is nothing to do with Sherilyn Barnes, is it?
No, this is the random time.
Yeah.
So Scott, I mean, Tom, are you vegetarian because your family's vegetarian, or are you chosen to be vegetarian?
I think you asked this before, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a bit of
I
both.
can't remember.
It's a bit of both. In it for the morals and the vegetarian, I guess.
Alright.
Anyway.
You drink milk though?
Yeah.
You eat cheese?
Eat cheese.
Okay.
Eat
eggs?
Yeah.
Do you worry about where the eggs come from?
No.
Tom, you're a shit vegetarian.
I do. Free range of them,
They've got to have the freedom, those chickens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm surprised you've not been fired from being a vegetarian yet.
Fired from being a vegetarian? Yeah.
Handed your P45. V45.
Yeah, V45.
Sonny, you've been put in the emergency tax code, Mr. Blaventort.
Yeah. Oh, V45.
Crap, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, is it regular? Is it like vegetarian, like food all the time at home, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
What's the corn stuff like? What? The corn stuff.
Oh, I've tasted it before.
Depends how you cook it. Usually it's broken.
Yeah, I found it to be horrific in my experience.
Horrific.
If you have it plain, then you're gonna.
Like corn mince and what other meat alternatives do you get?
There's corn chicken as well.
Corn chicken.
I've had that before, and it was actually quite rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it say in the ingredients, like in terms of what makes up the
polystyrene filler?
Isn't it like mushroom though? Isn't it mushroom
I
though?
think it's some sort of mushroom.
Is it?
Magic.
But it's got like a sort of chicken flavouring or something.
Probably, yeah.
Old shoe soles.
But don't you get like
plastic
just in brackets, whatever the fuck we could find lying around.
Isn't it like? Don't you get like bacon, like corn bacon? Or
You can, yeah.
What's that like?
Kind of salty. I've heard it's kind of similar. In smell, at least.
Oh right.
I wonder if you could make meat taste like vegetables for like people that are pure carnivores rather than vegetarian.
Vegetarians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Carrots made out of pig's hoofs and stuff.
You wouldn't like
pig's throaters.
Felice is like the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
She's like a pure carnivore. She hates vegetables.
She likes to get her hands on meat. Then
you could say that.
I just had to say.
She even showed me the evidence as well.
Really?
What? I'm getting her hands on meat.
Well, various things, various Turkish meals that she likes.
Greasy kebabs. Who doesn't love getting their mitts in a greasy kebab?
A greasy Turk.
Indeed. It wasn't all just. It was desserts as well.
Yeah.
Desserts.
Meaty desserts.
Meaty dessert.
Like ham ice cream.
Oh. Chicken cake. Chicken cheesecake.
Chicken flavoured cake. Oh my god.
Fucking beef trifle.
Oh god.
Sausages and jelly.
I believe that's a beyond the beaten track food, actually. Beef trifle. Pig's hoof sundae. Casserole of squirrel's arsehole. Quite a lot of disgusting foods in there.
Hog mess.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I think some of that food's going out of date, by the way. We need to can you imagine how long it has to have been there to about a day?
Yeah.
It's been there since the beginning of time.
I don't even think it was ever in date.
Can sand go out of date?
It looks like it's like pot noodles with bits in it.
It's not even that. We tasted it one time for a staff meeting. It was the chocolate pudding we tasted, wasn't it? Holy fucking hell. That was something else. But did you taste it as well? You didn't.
I think we offered it to you and you refused.
Yeah, the chocolate sauce. The chocolate sauce tasted more like gravy. Remember it?
Yeah.
It had a very kind of
lumpy sort of consistency.
Strange, synthetic kind of taste to it.
Melting plastic.
Yeah.
To cook it.
Well, you put it in the bag, and then you put the bag in boiling water, and then you just let it heat up itself.
Alright.
And that's all you do.
All that artificial goodness.
It's horrendous.
Oh my god! Taste the preservative!
I can imagine licking a car exhaust, that's what it's
Oh, carbonate.
Carcinogens.
Increase the lungs of everything but cancer.
Oh yeah, you need to listen to that.
The Rodenberg relay. You haven't seen this ad, have you?
No, no.
Yeah, this is for I Am Prego.
Oh, it's the I Am Prego one,
The
yeah.
I Am Prego app.
And there was this nonsense we did.
A pregnancy testing app that works by pissing on your phone.
Yeah.
And it gives you results instantly.
We can say that one because we made it.
Yeah.
It's actually a very
And then there's the Rodenberg relay about the Royal Dutch cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's going to open with this woman going around the garden centre that he doesn't own, and I
actually saw him out in the car park today.
Did you?
Yeah, it made me laugh as soon as I saw him.
Did he have smoke coming off his clothes?
He was out chatting to some one of the customers. Obviously, he had this big thick jacket on.
Really did today. What are you buying?
Thanks.
Shock.
I was wondering if you got any tomatoes in the gardens.
No, I got tobacco plants. Tomatoes, you mean tobacco?
Can you imagine? What's his wife's name again?
John C.
Oh shit! We need John Cena.
You mean Grey?
Yeah, Grey. That's right. Yeah. Can you imagine the amount of air fresheners that
John C.
that Grey has to go through? Yeah.
She's probably just bother.
She just left it.
Yeah.
Her wall's now yellow.
Desensitized.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, you know. We were thinking about the way to open this advert, and I'm thinking you could have this moment where it's like customers walking through his shop, and it's like all really misty and stuff like this, and you're like, hello, is there a customer servant or a manager here? I want to purchase some things. And then it's like, what is with all the mist? And it comes,
it's not mist, it's Foxhole.
Imagine if you opens up the till, it's all just ash.
Oh, the smoke comes pissing at the till.
Do you want a £5 note or do you want to smoke it one?
Holy shit, what was that?
I fucking know what that was. Holy fucking hell. That was weird.
Can you imagine like, smoking a cigarette with like the fibres and the
just rolled up 20 quid notes.
You see I'm smoking, burning the profits.
I'll smoke some taxes.
Taxman, smoke that shit.
Ari's Royal Dutch cigarettes.
yeah, they're basically describing how it's like a what's it, aphrodisiac, and then
What,
it like
smoking?
yeah, he described
Going in phase eyes.
Harry, look at that smoke from the ash in my eyes. So we basically had to do it in 2 takes. So we got Ari and Faye getting it on, Ari and Gray getting it on, and it's basically like him just kind of. We did it twice though, and they're like both layered, so it sounds like 4 people having sex at once.
Yeah, just Gray and her clone, and Ari and his clone. And we had it with Ari and Ari, didn't we?
Oh, it's good shit. Oh, need a fag awful man.
Yeah, that's the best bit.
It was a nicotine brothel.
Just imagine all the smoke and everything coming out the windows, out the chimney.
Yeah.
Don't you let the dog in here. Oh, need a fag after that one.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He must smoke about 100 a day.
I don't know. I mean, was that whole thing about
3 at a time? Was it?
Do you remember the thing we were saying about it? Like the mother's like got him inside there, and
yeah,
snap. He's got him inside, her belly, and she's in labour. And the next minute he's like. Yeah. So smoke exiting the vagina.
The vajayjay.
Yeah. Well, I think here endeth the Vox Mews show, I suppose.
Yep, for this week.
Ended as a car crash.
Play out with this, guys. Have fun, and we'll be back next week.
Yes, that's me, Gordon Watson.
Me, Duncan Watson.
Thunder.
And me, Scott Baxter. Bye for now.